folks.
It looks like we have Speedo on the line for the Texas Chainsaws.
Going up against Princess Leia.
There we go.
And it is going to be, Princess Leia out for lead jam for Arizona. Speedo working along that outside on turn one is now going to be out on their initials. Leia coming in for some points for Arizona. Quick hit to the floor, and they're going to call the jam.
Speedo proving why they're called Speedo.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Made total sense.
Yeah.
They had that extra gear. They said, I better go.
Yeah.
I got to get to
I
do
get
some
the name now.
It's all coming together.
It's clicking.
Look at us making connections.
Look at it. Yeah. I'm learning things.
I'm learning things.
Milagritos on the line for Texas Chainsaws. And Axel on the line for Arizona Rising.
Currently an empty penalty box, my favorite stat of every single game. So full complement of blockers for both teams on the track that those jammers are having to work their way through.
Despite being sucked back into the track, that looks like Milagritos got lead jammer status, but Axel hot on her trail.
And a call off from Milagritos. Let's see how those points. It looks like we got one apiece for each team. That brings our current score 5 for Arizona Roller Derby, 1 for Texas Rollergirls. And still an empty penalty box.
That's exciting. We'll see how long it lasts.
I know. Now that I've spoken about it, I've
know.
now jinxed the entire operation.
I feel like you did jinx it.
Yeah, I screwed up. My bad. Quick reminder, you can get up to 7 penalties in the game. Once you do reach that 7th penalty, you are respectfully asked to get the heck out of here. D-Gear, think about what you've done.
Gail Satan is lead jammer for Arizona Rising in white.
Meg Riot for Texas fighting through on their initial pass. So Gail, after 4 points, is going to call it off. More points on the board for Arizona, bringing the score 9-1. Going into Jam 3, still no penalties. So far, a very clean game that we're seeing from these teams, which is impressive because, again, multiple skaters on both rosters playing in their multiple games of the day. We have Kiwi for Arizona Roller Derby going up against Hell's Kitten for Texas Rollergirls. And it will be Kiwi out for lead for Arizona. Kiwi out for 4, Hell's Kitten out on their initial pass. We are going to see a blocker apiece sitting in that penalty box. And that is going to be a quick call off from Kiwi. 4 more points on the board for Arizona Roller Derby, bringing their total to 13. Texas held at 1 point for this game. That's okay. Who are we looking at?
Garen Yeager takes the line for Arizona Rising, and Spread Eagle for Texas Chainsaws.
Beautiful dance up the inside for Spread Eagle, but is hit out and does have to recycle back. Quick reminder, if you are new to this game, if you are hit out of bounds, you must re-enter legally inbounds behind the person who hit you out. As a jammer, makes our hearts sad. That is Yeager through for 4 points for Arizona. Spread Eagle still working on that initial pass, doing some matrix-like moves on that inside, but still going up against that hard Arizona wall. Lots of defensive strength that we're seeing from both teams this entire weekend. Mako for Arizona, dragging Spread Eagle back in time to turn 1. Ooh, a hard hit to the floor. No, thank you.
Spread Eagle did not make it out of the pack, so there is no initial on that one for Texas Chainsaws.
I think that's our highest scoring jam of the game so far.
So far.
We'll take it.
Yeah, Arizona Roller Derby puts up 12 points in that last jam, taking their score to 25, while Texas is held at just the 1 point.
Quick shout out to all of our volunteers helping us out this weekend. Today especially has been a long day, so thank you to volunteers, medics, refs, both on and off skates. That is going to be Princess Leia for lead jammer for Arizona Roller Derby. Mila Grito's fighting through that initial pass. And I believe we have had a star pass that will now make Blue Jay jammer of record before Blue Jay can do any damage on that score. Arizona does call off the jam. Score stays. Oh, I deeply apologize. 4 points on the board for Arizona Roller Derby, bringing their score up to 29. Texas still held at 1.
We see Speedo on the line for Texas Chainsaws and Axel on the line for Arizona Rising. We saw Speedo's speed
Fast pack to start off.
in the first jam of this game, and now we're going to get to see it again. I'm excited.
And we do have our first jammer penalty of the game. That is going to go to Axel for Arizona, making this a power jam for Speedo and Texas. Speedo looking for some offensive help from their skating friends on Texas. Is going to get hit out and does have to recycle back. We do have Texas's pivot also sitting in the penalty box. Speedo pushing against that Arizona defense up at the front, getting a little offensive help from their friends in the process. One more to beat, and that is going to be 4 on the board for Texas. 8 on the board, apologize, for Texas, bringing their score to 9. Axel is released from the penalty box, star in hand. Again, if you're new to this sport, if the jammer is notated by the star on their helmet, if they decide, you know what, I'm having a terrible time, I don't want to do this anymore, they can remove that star and hand it off to the pivot, which is denoted by the stripe on one of the blockers' helmets.
There was a penalty called at the end there, so Texas will start this next jam 1 blocker down. Meg Ryan. Meg Riot takes the line for Texas Chainsaw, while Gail Satan is the jammer for Arizona Rising. Meg Riot does get out for lead jammer status first, though. I hear the bench coaches yelling, points and call it, points and call it. So we'll see what happens here.
A smart strategy. So, points and call. Jammer will try and get as many points as they can on that first pass, but not running it. So, up to 4 looks like Arizona running away and getting 4 points for that. Texas with 2, bringing our score 33 for Arizona Roller Derby, 15 for Texas. Up next, looks like we have Mayhem West for Texas going up against Kiwi for Arizona. Mayhem West has been busy this weekend. I feel like every time I look up, they're on the jam line getting ready to rock and roll. But it will be Kiwi. Oh, I lied. Kiwi, unfortunately, going to go take a seat in the penalty box. That does make Mayhem West for Texas lead jammer. Kiwi with a cut track. It happens, buddy. What are you going to do? 4 on the board for Texas. Mayhem West being told to run it by her bench. Looking for some offensive help And that is another 4 points for Texas as Mayhem blasts through on that inside line. Coming in for another scoring pass as Kiwi is released from the penalty box, cap in hand, having to fight against an entire complement of blockers in the back for Texas. And does make it through on their initial. Will come around for their first scoring pass. Just got to get the cap back on her head. Beautiful. Mayhem fighting at the top, being told to call it, and does so. Holding Arizona scoreless. That would be 12 on the board for Texas, bringing the score 27, Arizona 33. I'm bad at math, but I think that's a 6-point difference.
Sounds right.
Sounds right. Felt confident when I said it.
I'm an English teacher, so math is not my strong suit.
I majored in music, so not
That's
great.
kind of math.
Is it?
Yeah. There's math and music.
I wasn't great at it.
Yeah.
I'm back in school now, so
Well,
I had so much fun the first time I figured I'd go back. All right, taking a look at our penalties. Looks like not a single person is in a lot of trouble. A couple skaters sitting with 1 penalty apiece. 19 minutes left in the first half, so that makes total sense. Each half is going to be 30 minutes. Each team does have 3 timeouts and 1 official review. Looks like team timeout is currently being taken by Arizona Roller Derby, so they will lose 1 of their timeouts for the half. You get 3 per half. Good time to check in, rehydrate, fix your gear.
unless there are some shenanigans here. Spready Eagle looks like she will jam for the Texas Chainsaws. And I believe that's Skaren Yeager on the line for the Arizona Rising.
An empty penalty box, so full complement of blockers for both teams on the track. Currently, that is Yeager pushing through and lead jammer for Arizona Roller Derby, but not far behind is Spread Eagle out on their initial as well. Yeager coming through, looking for some points. We do hear a couple whistles, which means that someone will be having a penalty. And Yeager calls off the jam, keeping Texas scoreless. We do, looks like, have a Texas blocker sitting in that penalty box.
Looks like it was for a forearm.
Wah, wah. Again, if you are new to roller derby, you cannot use your forearms, you cannot kick, you cannot headbutt. That's pretty much it. Don't smack them in the back. They hate that.
There's so many more rules than that.
I know. I'm a jammer. I don't know a lot of the rules.
Speedo takes off, but Princess Leia is right behind them. And actually, Princess Leia is lead jammer. So while Speedo was in front, Princess Leia calls it off. That's a 0-point jam. No change to the score.
Goose
Just
eggs.
some fun.
Just some. Yes. Nothing says fun like not scoring any points. Big fan of that. Love it.
Well, as a jammer, you wouldn't be, but as an observer, sometimes
As an
it
observer,
is.
I'm sure it looked great. All right. Who is that? We've got Mila Gritos on the line for Texas going up against Axel for Arizona. One Texas blocker currently in that penalty box, giving a slight pack advantage for Arizona Roller Derby off the start. Mila Gritos fighting against that pack advantage in the back as Kiwi pushes towards the front. But as I say it, 2 to beat up at the top. That is going to be Mila Gritos out for lead for Texas. Their blocker released from the penalty box. We do see Axel now out on their initial as well, looking to score some points for Arizona, but in quick comes Mila Gritos for Texas, dancing on that outside line, being recycled back. Will call off the jam. Looks like 0 points for Arizona, all 4 for Texas.
Impact play on the line for Texas Chainsaws. And Gail Satan, whom we've seen jam several times before for Arizona. But it is Impact Play who gets lead jammer status.
Some beautiful toast-up work on that inside line from Impact Play. Gail Satan working at the front of that pack out on their initial as Impact Play blah, blah, does come to the back, looking to score some points for Texas.
Tries a little apex hop. Not quite an apex jump, but an apex hop. A little hop. Tries it.
Basically the same thing. I'm a land-based mammal. I don't like jumping.
Texas picks up 3 points on that, bringing the score to 35 points for Arizona Roller Derby. Texas Rollergirls 33 points.
2-point game.
That's very exciting.
2-point game and an empty penalty box.
Ooh, what will happen next?
Probably roller derby.
I bet it is.
If I had to guess. And friendship. Oh.
Kiwi on the line for Arizona. Hell's Kitten on the line for Texas.
Strong
Kiwi
defensive
does make
shapes.
it out first for lead jammer status.
Hell's Kitten does pass the star. We are now going to see Texas Pivot Blue Jay become jammer of record. But before they can do any damage on the score, Arizona will call off the jam. 1 point for their troubles, bringing that score 36 Arizona, 33 Texas, a 3-point game.
Skaron Yeager takes the line for Arizona Rising. Meg Riot for Texas Chainsaw. Skaron Yeager out. Lead jammer status. Meg Riot not too far behind, though. This one's a race for some points. Skaron Yeager scores 3. Calls it off, but not before Meg Riot gets 1.
Sneaky point.
Sneaky point.
I like a sneaky point. Those are more fun. A sneaky point's way more fun than a non-sneaky point.
Says the jammer.
Yeah. I don't get sneaky points. I'm not very sneaky. That's okay. Once again, empty penalty box to start Jam 15. 13 minutes left in the first half of this final game on day 2 of Minnesota Roller Derby's Have a Nice Day tournament here in Hopkins, Minnesota. We do currently see Princess Leia for Arizona Roller Derby taking on Mila Gritos for Texas. Both jammers pushing towards the top of those packs. Mila checking the gravity on the outside line. It is still on. Is now pushing against 2 more blockers for Arizona and does break free and is lead jammer for Texas. Princess Leia working towards the back but does see some room on that inside line with a hop, skip, and another gravity test. Does have to recycle back a little bit, but has 2 more to beat at the top for their initial pass. Mila Gritos meeting that strong Arizona defense at the back, trying to score points for Texas. Princess Leia now out on their initial, looking for some points of their own, and Mila Gritos being told emphatically by their bench, call it off, my gosh. That is going to be 3 on the board for Texas, 0 for Arizona, 39 Arizona, 37 Texas. 2-point game.
And we're going to see a familiar pair on this next jam. We've got Axel and Mayhem West. People we feel like are everywhere.
All over the place this weekend. 1 Arizona blocker currently hanging out in the penalty box. Slight pack advantage for Texas. And that will be capitalized by Mayhem West, making them lead jammer, but it is going to be a jammer foot race as Axel not far behind Mayhem West, looking to shake things up. It is now a race.
The pack is also racing. The
What
pack
a race.
is, this is, as an official, this is my least favorite.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
When you're on the outside and the pack decides to go fast, you're like,
You said, oh, I'm going to die here. That's great.
This is the hill I'm going to die on.
This is it. No one can stretch enough for that. That's too much sprinting. I hate cardio. So
Cardio's
dumb.
the worst.
Cardio's stupid. If someone says they enjoy running, you're lying.
Also, what's wrong with you?
Also, what's wrong with you? Have a snack. Sit down. My goodness.
There's so many good things on TV to watch. Just watch something.
Watch something while sitting still. Gravy.
Gail Satan against Speedo on this one.
Neither of these jammers are sitting still.
No. Both of these running into hard defensive walls.
Checking that gravity is still on that inside line.
Speedo gets out, and they're going to see if they can run away with it. But Gail Satan's not far behind. We got a little apex hop. Maybe some miscommunication between their bench coach and Speedo there.
Yeah. Beautiful jump, though.
Beautiful jump. Yes.
Looks like that will be 4 points for Texas. 3 stolen by Arizona, making our score 42 Arizona, 41 Texas. That's math I can do. That's a 1-point game.
Woo!
I love when I can do easy math. A blocker apiece sitting in our penalty box.
That's Spread Eagle and Kiwi out on the lines for their respective teams. Looks like Kiwi's going to the penalty box. Spread Eagle gets lead jammer status. This is now a power jam. Spread Eagle back through the pack, picks up 4 points. It looks like that penalty box is getting awfully popular now. Spread Eagle down the outside line, uncontested.
That was beautiful work.
Texas fans going crazy. Not so uncontested this time, but it looks like there's also a penalty for that contest. Spread Eagle picks up another 4 points.
Kiwi also, though, out very quickly from the penalty box on their initial. That's going to be
a forearm.
A big ol' forearm. Sorry, buddy. That was a pretty good one.
Sometimes it's unintentional.
You can't clothesline in roller derby.
You can't clothesline in roller derby. It's not professional wrestling.
No. Big fan of clotheslining there. Here, not so much.
Yeah, real dangerous here. Real dangerous.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan. That was a 14-point jam for Texas, bringing their score up to 55.
Texas is going to take the lead here, I believe, for the first time in this half.
That sounds right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoop. We've got Milagritos on the line for Texas and Skaron Yeager for Arizona. There's a bunch of penalties happening. I can't keep track of them all, but it looks like even though Skaron Yeager was out first, there was a track cut. Milagritos has not been called lead jammer, so I believe this will be a 2-minute jam.
I believe this might be our first 2-minute jam of the game. Does that sound right?
That sounds right to me.
As long as I sound right. So 2 full minutes of fun that these jammers and blockers get to partake in. We do have 1 Arizona blocker standing in the penalty box. Hard hit to that outside.
And some penalties.
1 or 2.
1 or 2. We'll see what happens here.
We do have Yeager back from the penalty box.
Yes, the end of that was a little bit messy, so I didn't see all the things that happened.
Looks like Mila did call it off. I didn't see the distinction from the ref that they were lead, but that doesn't mean anything because I miss stuff all the time. So
yeah,
entirely possible.
So maybe there was a late call in on lead there because sometimes that happens. I was wondering if there was going to be a late call on lead. I didn't see it happen, but again, lots of stuff was happening during that jam, so it's easy to miss.
It's a busy game. What are you going to do?
Yep. Princess Leia on the line for Arizona Roller Derby. Meg Riot for Texas Rollergirls.
Currently, we do have Arizona's pivot in the box, and that's all right. Princess Leia said, I don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and get lead. Princess Leia coming on to score points for Arizona. Meg Riot, cap in hand for Texas, still working on their initial. We will see Texas's pivot, unfortunately, heading to that penalty box, meaning Meg has no one to give their cap to. Meg, though, said, I don't need it. I'm going to sneak through on the inside on my own. Princess Leia Currently 4 points on the board for Arizona. Meg Riot with a beautiful spin move on that inside line, scoring 4 for Texas. Princess Leia, 8 points so far on the board for Arizona. And actually, Princess Leia is going to head to the penalty box.
So
I believe
some
on a cut.
confusion. Yeah, that was a cut there. So
Okay.
it would have been on the previous pass through. So we'll see what happens with points, when
points,
all is
yeah.
said and done. That might need some working out.
That's not my job.
Yeah. Ooh, big hit on the outside over there. Everybody gets up and looks okay.
This is going to be a 2-minute jam, as Slaya was lead and then got that privilege taken away. Sorry, buddy. Does give Meg Riot some time for Texas to put some more points on the board. Does get hit to that inside and recycled back in time to turn 2. Slaya back from their trip to the penalty box, through. And Meg Riot also threw for 4. That will be 12 on the board for Meg Riot and Texas Rollergirls. 8 on the board so far for Princess Slaya and Arizona. We might see that change.
Who now also has 12 points.
Nice. Hard hits to the outside on Colette Thundercat for Arizona. Aggressive jam, to say the least.
Yeah, that was
Aggressive
a jam. So Arizona at the end of that jam, the score is 12 points. Texas at the end of that jam scores 15, taking our scores to 54-78, and a little less than 5 minutes left in this half.
We are seeing some more penalties pop up. Currently, no one in a lot of danger. We do have one Arizona skater sitting at 3 penalties, a couple Texas skaters sitting at 2. Again, you can get 7 before they say, get out of here, you.
Yeah.
Currently an official timeout. Officials can take as many timeouts as they want.
And need.
Need.
Usually need is
Yeah.
the right word, not want.
I like need better.
Yeah.
As many as you need,
Yeah.
friends.
There's a lot of things the officials are doing during a game,
Yes.
and they're probably checking on points to make sure that all the points were accounted for and as correct as possible in that last jam.
And they got to hydrate. They got to check in, make sure everyone's doing okay.
Yeah.
Figure
Yeah.
out what they're going to have for dinner. Important topics.
Important topics, yeah. Where are you going after this? Probably home to bed is
I'm
what
going
they're
to
saying.
bed.
Is what
Yeah,
they're saying
they
to each
should be
other.
everyone should be going to bed after this. It's been a long day of
Yeah.
roller derby.
And a day of fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Officials, when we do a tournament like this, officials work many games.
So many.
And so, yes, so just like the skaters out there who've played maybe 3 games today, the officials have also possibly skated 3 or 4 games today as well.
No, thank you. Hard pass, my guy. All right, we are back. Official timeout is done. We do have Axel on the line for Arizona Roller Derby taking on Hell's Kitten from Texas. Currently, we have one Arizona blocker standing in the penalty box, so slight pack advantage for Texas. Arizona now back to full steam ahead, and it is going to be Axel for Arizona Roller Derby out as lead. We do see Hell's Kitten remove the jammer cap. One Texas blocker head to that penalty box.
And there was a star pass there. Our new jammer is
very sneaky.
someone.
Blue Jay for Texas looks like is going to be the new jammer of record. Axel coming through on another scoring pass with ease, blast through it, and is being told by the bench to call it. That will be 8 points on the board for Arizona, bringing their score up to 63. Texas held at 78. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left in this half. That was not great. Not your best.
Speedo on the line for Texas. Gail Satan on the line for Arizona. Speedo living up to that name. They
Speedo's
are
earning their
through.
name tonight.
And they are on a scoring pass. Gail Satan not far behind, though. We'll see what happens there.
I feel like I blinked and that jam was over.
It was so fast.
Holy smokes.
It was so fast.
So fast, so furious.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious number 47 being
Yes.
filmed right here. 4 on the board for Texas. Arizona held scoreless, bringing Texas' score up to 82.
You know, if this was the next Fast and Furious movie, it would make as much sense as any other Fast and Furious movie.
I don't get it. I've tried. I also just don't get cars. I don't know. They've got wheels. They honk. That's about all I got for you.
Kiwi on the line for Arizona. Mayhem West on the line for Texas.
Mayhem West, beautiful spin. And another spin from Mayhem West, earning them lead jammer for Texas. Coming around to score some points for Texas. Kiwi still working on that initial pass for Arizona Roller Derby. Mayhem busting through. Looking for 4 on the board. We do hear some whistles, which means I'm sure someone will be going to take
hearing
a seat.
whistles, but I don't. There we go.
There we go.
Texas pivot headed to the box.
Kiwi, cap in hand, is through on their initial pass. Mayhem saying, hey, help me out, friends. Get me out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. Get me out. I want points. And is instead going to call off the jam before Kiwi can do any damage for Arizona. 4 for Texas, bringing their score up to 86. Arizona held at 63. 1 minute, 30 seconds left in this half. Friends, if you're sad that you're just now tuning in and this is the last game of the game, don't worry. We have 3 more games tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Wait for it. Texas Executioners will be taking on Arizona Roller Derby All-Stars to start our day off tomorrow.
Skaron Yeager on the line for Arizona. Spread Eagle on the line for Texas. I don't know what happened there because I was reading something, but your face made it look like something.
I got excited because we've got Yeager as lead jammer, and it looked really cool from here. We do have a blocker apiece sitting in the penalty box. Skaron Yeager quickly through for 4. Spread Eagle still working on that initial pass. Does make it through. Star back on their head, coming through for points. I saw that bug. I saw it. And a beautiful call off from Yeager, keeping Texas scoreless. 7 total.
And we'll see if there's one more jam, if anybody's going to take a timeout or if we're going to let this expire.
One more jam. One more jam. I feel like we're really good to say that because we're sitting here and not actually skating.
Yeah. Well, it looks like
It's fine.
we might get one more in. There will be 1 second on the period clock when this goes off. Look at that. Oh, so exciting. Oh,
Squeezed on in there. Milagritos skating for Texas, going up against Princess Leia for Arizona. Both jammers fighting against tripods. We will hear, unfortunately, Milagritos is going to be headed to the penalty box, leaving room for Princess Leia of Arizona to get lead jam. Got to make sure your cap's on your head. There you go, friend.
her bench coach yelling about the helmet cover because if your star is not prominently displayed, you cannot score points.
You get nothing.
You get nothing. You can pass all those people and do no point gain. But that's not what happened. Princess Leia picks up 4 points on that pass and is coming around for more.
Leia working for those points. We will see Milagritos released from the penalty box, cap in hand, looking to finish their initial. We currently have 7 on the board so far in this jam for Princess Leia and Arizona Roller Derby. Princess going to hit their way through that Texas tripod. We do have a star pass to Smart Alex for Texas. And a penalty on Smart Alex will bring the jam to a close. This means that Texas will start period 2 with a pivot turn jammer in the penalty box.
I believe that is going to be a jammer in the penalty box.
Pivot turn jammer, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. It's okay. You're okay. So, Chip, there was exciting news.
Oh, my God.
You did it. While there was a timeout, there was also an official review.
Ooh, what happened?
So the Texas Rollergirls were looking for a forearm call on one of the white blockers
Sure.
in that last jam. The officials, after discussion, decided it was chest to chest, which is perfectly legal, and therefore no retention of that official review.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Sad trombone.
I'm sorry. I ran 10 feet, so I'm out of breath. Woo!
You're doing great. Skaron Yeager is your lead jammer right now. Smart Alex is still in the penalty box. So Skaron Yeager in Arizona being able to take advantage of this. Oh, and we're going to do a jammer swap. I spoke too soon.
Jammer do-si-do action.
Yeah. Smart Alex gets in, looking to do that handoff.
It looks like it's spread eagle for Texas out as pivot.
Yes.
Which makes sense. Spread eagle, normally a jammer for Texas out there just in case Smart Alex needed some help. But Smart Alex said, I got it. I'm good. Let me jam.
And Skaron Yeager is back in. So we'll see how this all plays out. This will be a 2-minute jam
You hate it.
because Skaron Yeager was lead jammer, got that penalty. Now we go with the full 2 minutes, which there is still 1 minute-ish left of. Skaron Yeager puts up 4 points for Arizona. Smart Alex is also on a scoring pass. We'll see if they can get through. If she can get through the pack.
Looks like we're going to have someone going to visit our penalty box. It is going to be the pivot for Arizona on what I believe is a cut track. Smart Alex through. Cap back on their head. Skaron Yeager looking to add to the 8 points that they've already scored for Arizona in this jam. We do have 10 seconds left in the jam.
We'll see
Plenty
if
of time.
we get a official review after the end of this one. I saw Arizona bench coaches being curious about a 4-point score when the cap had come off. Oh, so I'm wondering if they might think about that and
They
look
might
at that.
ask about that. I would.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It looks like they're going to let it fly. They've decided
Really?
it's legit.
Interesting.
Or
Or
not worth the risk of challenging and losing that when you might need it
you're
later.
right. You're right. You might need that later.
Yeah. Speedo out there for Texas. This one will go fast against Princess Leia.
Gotta go fast. They
Speedo
will.
is so fast.
So fast. Exhausting to watch, honestly, because of how fast they go.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But it is going to be Princess Leia out for lead for Arizona, but not far behind is Speedo, putting on their own blast of speed. Clear penalty box. As Leia comes into the pack, Speedo not far behind at all. Ooh, and a big tumble to the ground for several skaters. Let's see how that went out. 4 for Arizona, but 2 stolen by Texas and Speedo. That looked really cool.
It did look really cool.
It did. It
Yeah,
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think Speedo knows we love them?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. We're just over here fangirling so hard.
Oh my God.
Kiwi on the line. Milagritos.
Mila fighting against that Arizona pack and is going to be dragged all the way back in time to nearly the jammer line by Mako, number 62, the pivot for Arizona. Kiwi, meanwhile, fighting towards the front, hands in the air like you just don't care, means that Kiwi is going to be lead jammer for Arizona Roller Derby. Star pass by Milagritos. New jammer record for Texas will be Blue Jay. Both jammers now in on their scoring pass, and Kiwi is going to go ahead and call the jam, leaving Texas scoreless. Ooh.
Look at that score.
Wow. Again, that's math I can do. That's a 1-point game.
That's a 1-point game.
You'll
so
have to see it.
we, in the last game, just discussed this,
Sure.
that in basketball, the first team to make it to 100 is statistically more likely to win. Now, in the last game, that did not work out for roller derby. We'll see if the first team to make it to 100 is the team that wins this game.
So we're saying basketball and roller derby, not the same.
Not the same
Okay.
sport.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go sell my basketball then. I thought they were the same thing. What the heck? I bought the shorts. I bought the shoes. I feel pretty stupid.
Well, I mean, there's no saying you can't have fun playing basketball as well. I'm just saying, so far, that statistical anomaly does not hold true for roller
Not
derby.
the same.
Yeah.
While I was learning what basketball was, Gail Satan has gotten lead for Arizona roller derby. Impact play for Texas, cap in hand, working against that Arizona tripod of defense in the back. As Gail Satan says, "Excuse me, I'd like some points, please." 4 on the board for Arizona, bringing them so close to the century mark, which is still important, even though this is not basketball.
It still is important.
Still a big deal.
Yeah.
Just no basketball for you.
Yeah.
Gail gonna go ahead and call off the jam. Let's see.
Oh.
Did they make it over the century
Yeah,
mark?
they're going to do it.
You're a basketball. Yay!
Okay, so now we'll see if this works. Arizona roller derby, the first team to make it over 100. If this was basketball, they would be statistically more likely to win. We'll
If
see
this ends up being true, who do we call on the basketball team to tell them they're right?
I don't know.
Is Michael Jordan still playing?
Yeah, maybe we call Rev because it was his statistic.
Ah, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I was going to call Kate and Clark and just say, hey.
Yeah. Just, check in with Shaq for some reason.
Why not?
Yeah.
What's he doing? Probably
Yeah.
nothing. He's retired. All right. We do have Axel out for Arizona roller derby, taking on Meg Riot for Texas. We do see a Texas skater headed to the penalty box, and it is going to be Axel out for lead for Arizona. Meg Riot still working towards the back of that pack against Arizona's defense, trying to get out on their initial as Axel re-enters. And with ease on that inside line, 4 points on the board for Axel in Arizona roller derby. Couple whistles means someone gets to go sit down. Who is it? Oh, it is unfortunately Meg Riot of Texas going to go take a seat in that penalty box, meaning this is a power jam for Axel, who is through for another 4. They make it look so easy.
I know. It's like, I feel like I could jam, but that's not true.
You could totally
No,
jam.
I
It's
cannot.
super simple. You just have crushing anxiety, and you're out of breath all the time, and it's fine.
You just got to do cardio and, hold the whole weight of the team.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
it's super easy. I recommend some meds. We
That
like to make
seems
the
like-
joke that our Minnesota Jam line is sponsored by sertraline.
Yes.
All right, 12 points on the board for Arizona.
Nice.
114 to 96, 22 minutes and 30-something seconds left in this second half.
We're
Timeout.
We're taking a timeout. But when we come back, we're going to have a power jam start for Arizona. And unless they, again, change things at the last minute, Skaron Yeager will be that jammer that gets that power start.
We do have some wonderful cheers. All weekend there's been some incredible cheers, chants, and songs by multiple teams, so I love this.
Love that.
Wait, do the slack top. There it is. That's a stroke. You're having a stroke. It's also my sleeping brutal face. It is also my watching the movie brutal face. It's my face. Learning so much about Brutal's face right now. All right, Skaron Yeager on the line in a power start for Arizona.
We've got a Texas blocker headed to the penalty box.
And Yeager is lead.
A penalty, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
That sounds right.
Yeah, a forearm, it looks like it was.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have 4 arms.
Yeah. You're not supposed to use them.
We actually have 2 arms.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Ooh, yuck, 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 yuck. That was an insane hit to the inside on Meg Riot, who has re-entered from the penalty box and is looking to get through on their initial pass. Bodies flying all over the place. My goodness. And Meg Riot threw on their initial. Yeager's going to say, nope, we're all done.
Yeah.
Terrible game. I want to go home. They're going to take a seat.
Yeah, this is the part of a weekend like this where,
Yeah.
People have skated so much today
So much skating.
and yesterday.
Yeah. And then
That-
tomorrow, too.
And that people are tired and you worry about injuries
Safety
and
stuff.
safety.
Yeah.
Because just, if you're a little bit sleepy, a little bit out of it,
Yeah.
not paying as close of attention.
Your body's going to do
your,
weird stuff.
Your body does weird things. You're not paying attention to that blocker maybe as closely as you should. You get lit up a little bit.
Luckily, we do have a great medic team
Yes.
of volunteers here to help out and keep us safe. A lot of whistles. What are we doing? Let's
There's
take a look.
so many whistles. I don't know what's
Looks like
happening.
we have Mayhem out for lead for Texas. We have a blocker, a piece headed to that penalty box. Princess Leia still working on that initial for Arizona. Gets tumbled to the ground by Texas. Uh-oh.
We might have a broken skate.
It looks like we might have a broken skate.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, star pass on behalf of Arizona. Going to Phoenix, new jammer of record, as Mayhem blasts through for 4 points for Texas. Oh, skate's fine. We're back.
Okay.
Very good.
Sonny Ono.
Quick heel.
I think it was a wheel that had something stuck in it, so they
You
removed.
hate to see it. Wheels are supposed to turn.
I
Did you
they-
know?
Yeah, and if they don't, it's a real problem.
It feels freaking weird. All right, both jammers deep in the fray of the pack, looking for some points for their respective teams. Hard hits. Oh my goodness, and a beautiful tiptoe on the outside by Mayhem. 4 more points for Texas, bringing them across the century mark. Basketball!
Yay!
You win a basketball! Yay! Someone's gonna say, God, Chip, that's not how basketball works. I don't know. I've watched it once. I watched Space Jam. It's fine.
Yeah. And Space Jam's totally how basketball works.
There's aliens in
There's
basketball,
aliens in basketball.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All
Phoenix. Phoenix working around the outside, trying to get up to that front line, and now met with a very
Wow.
strong tripod.
Mako. Beautiful defensive work from both teams tonight.
Yeah.
After a long day, they are still delivering those hard hits, sending people flying into the stratosphere.
Yes.
That looked hard. I didn't love that at all for them.
No.
Beautiful hits. Please don't do that to me. Figure you could ask, right?
We've got Kiwi on the line against Spread Eagle.
Empty penalty box.
Yay!
Yay!
Spread Eagle has lead jammer status. Kiwi really getting hung up by that Texas roller derby.
Oh.
Ooh, sorry.
Big hit delivered to Spread Eagle
Yeah.
from Arizona.
Those front two blockers using that nice sandwich move, which is effective but not fun.
I would not, no, not my favorite.
No.
I like my head shaped the way it is, thanks. Both jammers out. We have had a star pass on behalf of Arizona Roller Derby. Colette Razorcat now jammer of record for Arizona, but before they can score any points, Spread Eagle from the ground is going to say, I'm full. Let's go ahead and call it.
I'm done.
I'm all done. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Quick glance over to our penalty board. Couple skaters from each team sitting at 3, but that is the most that we have for penalties. Very clean game. I believe Texas has 17 penalties. Arizona has 21. So clean game so far from both of these teams. Impressive for the last game of the day.
Impact play for Texas Roller Derby and Gail Satan for Arizona. Arizona's in white. Texas is in black.
No lead as of yet. Both jammers fighting for it at the top of that pack. It will be Gail Satan out for lead for Arizona, but not far behind is impact play of Texas. Do some sprinting about it.
Gail Satan calls it off before impact play can make it back to the pack and score any points.
1 point for Arizona. 131 for that score for Arizona. 113 for Texas. I can't do that math. Someone do it for me. I don't know.
I don't know.
Nothing for you. Something.
20, 24,
Sure.
14, 24, somewhere in there. I'm an English teacher, folks. I'm an English teacher.
It's past our bedtime. We can't do math right now. But it is not past Speedo's bedtime as
Nope.
they are out for lead for Texas, putting on that blast of speed. And it is going to be a power jam for Speedo and Texas as Axel heads to the box on a penalty.
Big hit delivered to Speedo there, knocking them out to the inside. Slowing them down, which is impressive in and of itself.
Yes. We do have a blocker for Texas headed to the penalty box. Speedo looking for some offense from their friends. Sweep from the inside by a couple Texas skaters. But a big hit delivered to Speedo on the outside means that they have to recycle all the way back in time towards that apex between turns 1 and 2. Axel is released from the box, cap in hand. Still looking to finish their initial pass. And does so with a toe stop work on that outside line. Axel does finish that initial pass for Arizona, looking to come around for some points. Speedo hit to that inside and being told emphatically by the bench, hey, call it off if you want.
I think there was less of a if you want.
More of a, hey, do this thing, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tone I heard all the way over here was less of a if you want to, it was more of a do this now. What you call this thing off my stick?
Yep. I'm sure there was a please and a thank you in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, implied
Implied politeness. You'll love to see it. We do have Skaren Yeager for Arizona going up against Milagritos, and it is going to be Yeager out for lead for Arizona. Skaren Yeager hitting the back of that Texas pack, looking for some points as we do have, I believe, a star pass. Maybe? Not quite yet? Possibly. Yep, to Blue Jay of Texas. I knew I had eyeballs. Look at that.
There you go.
Blue Jay of Texas, now jammer of record, but Mako of Arizona saying, no, come here. You're going to come back and snuggle with me. And recycles him back to turn 1.
2x4s headed to the box there for a direction of gameplay penalty.
Happens.
Yeah.
Happens. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right, that is Skaren Yeager through for points for Arizona. Blue Jay for Texas not far behind. Star now adorn their head. Coming around for points for both teams. I wonder if Yeager's going to try and get their blocker out of the penalty box. Penalty box is now clear. Yeager looking for those final points on that outside. Beautiful side surf does mean that they get 4 more points for Arizona, bringing the total score to 8 for this jam. Texas at 0 points currently. Blue Jay working hard to change that in the back of the pack as Yeager comes up for more points. Trying to slide through that outside line and now to the inside. Meeting some resistance from Texas and is going to go ahead and say, I'm all done. Let's call it off.
Yeah. Let's just call it off.
I've had enough.
Yeah.
Could never have too much roller derby.
Is that true?
I say that confidently now. Ask me tomorrow at
6 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I will hopefully still be unconscious. We do currently have a blocker for Texas sitting in the penalty box.
Mayhem West on the line and Princess Leia for their respective teams.
Respectfully.
A big tight pack of blockers there. Tight pack.
Scrum.
A scrum of blockers in the way, holding both of them up.
What is it in basketball when all the players stand by each other?
I don't know.
A grouping? A murder of basketball players?
A Congress.
I gotta go. Unfortunately, Mayhem West is going to go ahead and take a seat in the penalty box. So Princess Leia is out and has been awarded lead for Arizona. Princess Leia now free to come around and score some points for Arizona. No blockers in the box. Princess Leia looking for some offensive help from their friends as they come through around turn 4, looking for some points for Arizona. We do have direction from the bench for Princess Leia to call off the jam, which they do so. freezing Mayhem West in that penalty box.
Giving themselves that power start on the next jam. Helping a friend out, kind of. Yeah.
I made you this gift. It's a power start.
Yeah.
Do what you will.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Wow.
Kiwi is the proud recipient of this power start.
Oh, and you also get a timeout.
Yeah. Catch your breath.
Timeout brought to you by Texas, saying, hey, I'd like to regroup for a second.
Yeah.
If you are joining us in person tomorrow, we do have some wonderfully talented tattoo artists hanging out in the back of our area. I believe they should still have a couple spots left. If you'd like to go over and look at their beautiful flash work, sign up for a slot. I'm nursing my newest tattoo that I keep forgetting is there and keep kicking myself in the calf. Very helpful. But go check out their work. Beautifully well done.
There's also lots of merch available
So
here this
much
weekend.
good merch.
So, last chance to get all that merch tomorrow here at
Buy a shirt from every team.
Yeah, why not?
There's fanny packs,
Yeah.
stickers,
Oh.
patches, pins,
I love all those things.
merch galore.
Yes.
Currently 11 minutes and 7 seconds left in the second half of the last game of the day. Kiwi holding down that jam line all by their lonesome as it is a power start for Arizona. And Kiwi off with beautiful offense from their team. Opens up that inside line, and Kiwi is lead jammer. Mayhem West released from the penalty box, looking to complete their initial pass, which they do with ease on that outside line. Kiwi now in for scoring points for Arizona, being pushed through by their friends. Tiptoeing through, and does get 4 points. Mayhem West also 4 points on the board for Texas. Nice and sneaky.
Yes.
Well done, Texas. That was beautiful.
And at the end of that, there, Mako got to go visit the refs.
Just checking in,
Just
making
checking
sure
in.
they're still there, saying,
Yeah.
hey, friends.
Hey.
Face to face, here we are.
Yep. That was also one of my least favorite things in reffing is suddenly there'd be a
Suddenly
player.
there's a skater in
Yeah,
your nose.
you're
You're
like-
like,
you're like,
hello.
"Ah."
Hey, you. Let's talk later, maybe. 4 apiece for both teams. 148 Arizona, 123 Texas. 10 minutes and 10 seconds left in this half. We do have Gail Satan going up against Speedo. I think our favorite combo so far.
I think so. Yeah. They're
Big
both
fan.
so fast. Yeah. Well, and here they go. Oh, Gail Satan heads to the box. So Speedo has a real chance to make up some points here. See if they can make up
Wow.
that difference of math that we don't know how to do.
Some math.
Yeah.
Beautiful work on the outside line by Speedo. Basically untouched
Yes.
through that scoring pass.
Ooh. This time, number 5 on Arizona says, no, thank you. So, that's Sonny Ono says, nah.
Not again.
I'm not falling for that again.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Not gonna happen.
8 on the board so far for Speedo and Texas Rollergirls. Gale has returned to play from the penalty box, looking to complete their initial, which they do so. And a vigorous call off from Speedo before Gale can come through with points. 2 more on the board for 3 more. Apologies, didn't see a thumb. 3 more on the board for Texas, bringing their total for that jam to 11. Texas 134, Arizona 148. 8 minutes, 45 seconds left in this half.
I can do that math. There's a 14-point difference there.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
10 out of 10.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Axel on the line for Arizona. Impact play on the line for Texas. Those lines collecting up those jammers and stopping them in their tracks. We've got slow moving pack that's slowly separating. We'll see if anything happens with that. The never ending yell for bridge.
Come here! Talk to me about it.
Okay.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
A hard hit delivered to Impact play means that Axel sneaks by as lead jammer for Arizona. Impact looking to finish that initial.
You thought it was going to be impact play.
I thought it was going to be impact for sure.
Kirk comes in with the block.
Says, just
Axel,
kidding.
get on out there. Oh, so impressive.
That was stunning skating by both teams. Axel says, I'm full, thanks. Let me sit down. 2 points on the board for Axel and Arizona Roller Derby. Beautiful skating by both teams in that jam. Oh, you love to see high fives between skaters.
Yes.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Just gives you the warm fuzzies. All right. Empty penalty box.
Woohoo.
Big fan.
Mayhem West on the line for Texas. Princess Leia for Arizona. Again, Arizona's in white. Texas is in black. Princess Leia gets lead jammer status. But I hear a bunch of whistles. So we'll kind of see
lot of whistles.
What's happening there.
Texas blocker going to the box for a
Ooh.
forearm, and another Texas blocker going to the box for a...
Princess
It says
Leia made
question mark.
short work of the two
Very
blockers that
short
were
work.
left in there. It is very hard to defend with just two people. It's a lot of room to cover.
And Slay going to go ahead and say, I'm done. Call off the jam. Icing those two Texas blockers in the penalty box. 8 on the board for Arizona, bringing their score total to 158. Texas, 134. Once again, no one in a lot of penalty trouble. We do have one skater on Texas sitting at 4 penalties. Again, low penalty game. High score, low penalty.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay, we have Spread Eagle out there for Texas and Skaron Yeager for Arizona. Both
we've
go
seen
out
this
to the
matchup.
inside and recycle back in very shortly.
Beautiful spin. And it's a jammer race. I do believe Spread Eagle is lead jammer for Texas. And is going to go ahead and call off the jam before Yeager can score any points. Texas did get all their blockers back from the box, so we will start this next jam, I believe, on an empty penalty box. Woohoo! How great! Big fan. 5 minutes and 18-ish seconds left in this half. We're going to... It's your jammer.
I
It's
know.
Speedo.
Speedo.
Oh my gosh. Speedo and Kiwi.
Speedo and Kiwi. Let's see what they can do.
Probably going to jam.
They're probably going to jam.
They're probably going to jam if
Yeah.
I had to guess.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Speedo quick going to lie down on the floor. And Speedo with
Speedo
lead.
got lead, but
Did get lead.
sucked back in, but now out.
Said, doesn't matter. I'm still going to get out.
Yeah.
Put on my speed.
Put on the speed.
Kiwi still working through on that initial pass for Arizona. Does remove the star, looking for their pivot. Speedo being recycled back to turn 1. Kiwi pushing through last couple Texas blockers, but does get hit to the outside. Do hear a whistle, so let's see who's got the penalty. I believe a Texas blocker will head to the penalty box for that. Kiwi still working against the Texas tripod.
We see a forearm being called on another Texas blocker.
Speedo will call the jam. Will leave, though, 2 of their blockers in the box.
Yeah,
2 is less than 4.
that is true.
You'd love to have 4 blockers on the line. But
Yeah.
if you have 2,
Harder to do all the things. Looks like Gail Satan and Mayhem West are going to jam after this timeout.
that, I believe, is Texas's last timeout.
It is.
But you may as well use it.
Yeah.
You got 3 minutes left. You can't take them with you.
Nope. They don't go to the next game with you.
No. Could you imagine?
No.
Hi, I've saved 47
No.
Timeouts.
No.
I'd like to use them
What a mess.
one after the next. The refs say, no, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be a mess. Also, the paperwork. How do you keep track of?
There's paperwork for this sport?
Oh,
I had
yeah.
not
A lot of
clue.
it. A lot of it. A lot of paperwork.
I don't know how to read. I didn't know there was paperwork.
So here's the thing. You
Yeah.
see, there are, 7 refs on skates.
True.
But there are like another 15 officials not on skates that are running this whole thing, and every single one of them has paperwork that they're doing.
That sounds exhausting.
It is a lot of paperwork.
That sounds exhausting. No thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that rolling whistle does bring our timeout to an end. Mark that on the paperwork. Mark that down.
Oh, someone did. Don't worry.
Mark that down.
Someone marked that on the paperwork. We have Mayhem West and Skarin Yeager out there, like we said. And we're going to see who can get the lead jammer. That's Skarin Yeager is your lead jammer.
2 to beat. Yeager out for lead. Mayhem has removed that star cover and is going to be recycled all the way back to that jam line by number 31 for Arizona. That is 2x4.
Yep. Skarin Yeager scores 4 points. We've got the blockers from Texas back from the penalty box.
Sprinting onto the track.
Yeah. They're hoping to catch up Skarin Yeager and hold her at the back of the pack here.
Because if you are sitting in the penalty box and the jammer passes, they still get your point. You have to sit there and let it happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Not fun.
No one loves it. Oh, sneaky star pass. Oh, they're going to say it's not a star pass.
Did not work.
They're saying no go.
So what happens if a star pass is not successful, Allegory?
Okay. So what happens is Mayhem is still the jammer, as we see here.
Yep.
We had the pivot throw the helmet cover back in so that Mayhem could pick it up. The pivot then is still the pivot, but holding the star, which is all sorts of confusing.
Right.
But then gets an out-of-play penalty for skating out of play. Because if they were the jammer, they would be able to leave that play. But that's
because
always
the pass
very
was
tricky.
incorrect.
Yes. So there also can be penalties assigned because of the incomplete pass if something illegal happened in the middle of that as well. So there's a lot of confusion. We used to say
paperwork.
It is.
Yep.
We used to say star passes makes baby Jesus cry. So
yeah, I would bet. It seems confusing and like a lot of work.
Yeah.
All right. We do see Spread Eagle heading to the penalty box for Texas, which means Gail Satan is going to be lead jammer for Arizona. Gail coming around for some points and breaks through 4-4 for Arizona. We do have all blockers returned to the floor from the penalty box. We do still have Texas jammer sitting in there. And as soon as I open my mouth, Texas blocker, Texas pivot, in fact, headed to the penalty box. Gail working on 4 more points for Arizona, does so with ease. That is going to be 7 on the board so far for Arizona. Hard hits to the back of that pack by Gail Satan. And through for another 4 for Arizona, bringing their score up to 180 for Arizona. Spread Eagle has returned from the penalty box and is fighting on their initial against a full complement of Arizona, but does tiptoe on that outside.
Yes.
Completes their initial pass. Gail Satan going to say, I'm all done.
Yeah, there was some confusion between the box staff there of what they should do.
Yeah.
Someone was giving the go-ahead, someone was giving the call it off.
Very confusing.
Yeah. And then as a skater, you have to be like, which one am I listening to?
As a skater, you actually just black out and keep skating.
I bet regularly. Yeah.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
Quick glance over. We do currently have 2 skaters from Texas sitting at 5 penalties. Remember, you can have 7 before you are respectfully told, get out of here.
Yes.
Yes.
But there's only going to be one more jam
That's
tonight.
true. So as long as you don't go nuts and get more than...
And it looks like neither of those skaters are going to be on the track for this jam unless, again, things change, which they can during timeout.
No one tells us anything.
Nope.
So.
Yep. So we'll see what happens here. Arizona needed to take a timeout there if they wanted one more jam because the period clock was going to expire before the jam started. So they decided, let's do one more.
Let's do one more. Everyone's having so much fun.
Yeah.
Let's do one more jam.
Why not?
One more jam.
Yep.
One more jam.
Again, we can say that as much as we want because we don't actually have to skate in that last
Nope.
jam.
Nope.
Thank goodness. Wowza.
It looks like it's going to be Speedo versus Princess Leia.
Wow.
On the line
we've
here.
seen.
Yes.
empty penalty box means that these jammers have to contend against all 4 blockers for their respective teams. And with a tiptoe, Princess Leia is declared lead, but is going to have to be recycled back to the back of the pack, and it is going to be Speedo headed to the penalty box. So this is a power jam.
Yeah.
And Princess Leia says, I can call it, so I shall.
Yeah.
Done.
There was a block from out of bounds there on
you hate
Speedo.
it. You
That's
hate it.
what happened on the end there.
All right.
We're going to wait our 1 minute to make sure that there's no last minute craziness coming in.
We don't need any last minute craziness.
No,
That's too much craziness.
It's too much. It's too much craziness.
Scheduled, timed craziness.
Yes.
I've said this for years.
Yes.
It's the best way to have fun. Scheduled craziness. And there's that rolling whistle, which means our official score is 1-8-2 Arizona, 1-3-6 Texas. Well done to all skaters. Well done to all refs.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us.